Are you a GK genius? 50 questions, 5 seconds each. Only 1% can win. Let's begin. 3, 2, 1. Question 1. Which country has the most volcanoes? B. Indonesia. Question 2. Which metal is liquid at room temperature? B. Mercury. Question 3. Which bird can fly backwards? C. Hummingbird. Question 4. Which ocean is the warmest? B. Indian Ocean. Question 5. Which country has the most official languages? B. South Africa. Question 6. Which is the smallest bone in the human body? D. Stapes. Question 7. Which continent has the least population? B. Antarctica. Question 8. Which gas is most abundant in Earth's atmosphere? B. Nitrogen. Question 9. Which country has the most islands? B. Sweden. Question 10. Which is the fastest bird? A. Falcon. Question 11. What is the capital of Mongolia? B. Ulaanbaatar. Question 12. Which desert is the coldest? C. Antarctica. Question 13. Which element has highest melting point? C. Tungsten. Question 14. Which country is land of fire and ice? B. Iceland. Question 15. Which is the longest cave system? A. Mammoth Cave. Question 16. Which country has no official capital? A. Switzerland. Question 17. Which is the deepest lake? B. Lake Baikal. Question point 18. Which animal has highest blood pressure? C. Giraffe. Questions 19. Which country produces most coffee? B. Brazil. Question 20. Which is the only flying mammal? A. Bat. Question 21. Which language has most native speakers? B. Mandarin. Question 22. Which planet rotates fastest? B. Jupiter. Question 23. Which country has oldest flag? D. Denmark. Question 24. Which organ purifies blood? B. Kidney. Question 25. Which is the tallest waterfall? A. Niagara. Question point 26. Which sea has no coastline? C. Sargasso Sea. Question 27. Which country has most lakes? D. Canada. Question 28. Which is the hardest natural substance? B. Diamond. Question 29. Which country has most pyramids? A. Egypt. Question 30. Which is the longest mountain range? B. Andes. Question 31. Which gas makes up most of the sun? C. Hydrogen. Question 32. Which continent has most countries? C. Africa. Question 33. Which country is largest by area? B. Russia. Questions 34. Which is the deepest ocean trench? A. Mariana Trench. Question 35. Which country invented paper? C. China. Question 36. Which is the smallest ocean? B. Arctic. Question 37. Which organ pumps blood? C. Heart. Question 38. Which country has largest desert? C. Antarctica. Question 39. Which is the fastest fish? B. Sailfish. Question 40. Which metal is best conductor? B. Silver. Question 41. Which country has most time zones? C. France. Question 42. Which planet is hottest? B. Venus. Question 43. Which is the longest river? B. Nile. Question 44. Which country gifted Statue of Liberty? D. France. Question 45. Which is the smallest country? B. Vatican. Question 46. Which animal sleeps the most? C. Koala. Question 47. Which planet has rings? C. Saturn. Question 48. Which country has most population? B. India. Question 49. Which is the tallest building? D. Burj Khalifa. Question 50. Which is the only continent with no reptiles? B. Antarctica. How many did you get right? Comment your score below. Subscribe for part 2.